the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad, and on this episode, we're going to be exploring number 54 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
All right, and number 54 is Sabrina, released in 1954, directed by Billy Wilder, starring Humphrey Bogart, Audrey Hepburn, and William Holden.
So, the synopsis for this romantic dramedy is as follows. Sabrina Fairchild, played by Audrey Hepburn, is the young daughter of Larrabee chauffeur Thomas. She has been in love her entire life with David. The non-working playboy has never noticed her romantically, thinking of her only as the child who grew up on his family estate. The night before she is to leave to Paris to attend Le Cordon Bleu cooking school, she eavesdrops on a Larrabee party. She watches David seduce yet another woman to join him at the dark and vacant indoor tennis court. She writes her father a suicide note and starts all the cars in the garage. She is passing out from the fumes when older Larrabee brother, Linus, played by Humphrey Bogart, discovers her and takes her upstairs. 2 years later, Sabrina returns home a sophisticated woman. When her father is delayed picking her up from the train station, David, passing by, stops and offers her a ride, not recognizing the chauffeur's daughter. Once they arrive back at the mansion, David realizes who she is and invites her to a party that evening. As he usually does with his dates, he asks Sabrina to join him in the tennis court. Linus spots this and fears that David, engaged to Elizabeth Tyson, will end the upcoming merger between Larrabee Industries and the Tyson's Plastics Company. He manipulates David to sit down while holding 2 champagne flutes in his back pockets, incapacitating him for several days. Linus takes David's place in the tennis court to meet Sabrina under the pretext it's all in the family. Linus and Sabrina fall in love, although neither will admit it. Linus plans a trip to Paris on an ocean liner with Sabrina, but intends to not join her, getting her away from David and threatening the merger. Linus eventually confesses this to Sabrina. She is hurt but understands. She agrees to sail to Paris, but won't take the money and other inducements offered. The following morning, Linus has second thoughts and decides to send David with her, even though it will end the merger. Linus schedules a big meeting to announce this to the Larrabee Board of Directors. David doesn't sail and instead arrives at the meeting with Elizabeth and announces they still plan to marry. To get Linus to recognize his feelings for Sabrina, David insults her and gets punched in the face. Linus hurries off to get on the ocean liner, where he finds Sabrina on the deck.
Yeah, so
There's
I think this is the first movie I fell asleep watching.
So this movie was also remade in 1995, and it stars Harrison Ford.
Juliette Binoche.
It's Juliette Binoche plays the woman, and Greg Kinnear plays David Larrabee. Both movies have essentially the same problems. So the first one is the age gap is just unquestionably like a problem, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's not necessarily all that weird when you've got a big age difference to me, but it does pose a problem when, like, if you're the man, or even the other way around, when you know that person as
forever
as young. Like he's probably known her since she was, at the very least, like a small girl, maybe since she was born.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of
weird.
It's just kind of a weird kind of situation, and then it's like the story itself is not that believable. Like,
no.
She's been gone for 2 years. And, okay, she, maybe she's changed her hair and her clothes a little bit.
She changed her hair and her clothes.
And he doesn't recognize this person that he has known for, like, 20 years.
And that person is Audrey Hepburn. Like,
yeah.
Come on. And like, she's so sophisticated now.
Yeah,
because she went to culinary school and she cut her hair.
And she went to Europe and,
She obviously is not very sophisticated.
Well, the other thing, too, that's kind of like, it's kind of sort of implied that maybe she had an affair with that other older man, too, that's in the class.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think you could make that leap, but...
I don't think she obviously, if she was matured, she would have recognized that this guy that she's been in love with was really not her being in love with them. She was infatuated, puppy love. But so to say that she matured, she presented herself as being mature, but she was not actually mature. She was still like, oh, where's David? Like, I want to show him how sophisticated I am. And, she's very much a child still to me.
Yeah. The actors that you got to play this don't exude boyhood charm in any fashion. No. So we had the same discussion a few movies back where William Holden was in it and playing a much younger man. William Holden is a good actor, but what he cannot do is portray
a young man
when he's in his he's in his middle age.
Humphrey Bogart was like old in his like early movies, it felt like.
Yeah,
right?
He's kind of always been old.
He's like Uncle Linus in this movie. He's not really like a love interest to me.
Yeah, it's very strange. And you think you would be able to buy the fact that he's in a romance that has such an age gap, since that's exactly what was happening in his real life.
Sure.
He's got a massive age difference between him and his wife. Yeah,
but I mean, and then there we go, like Audrey Hepburn looking amazing and beautiful clothing, and it's just, I feel like sometimes the movies with her in it just kind of started showing her as a showcase, and it just, this movie was also very long and boring in spots.
Yeah,
I felt
it's just kind of dull, and honestly, I think it's just the story itself, because the other version is really, really dull too.
Yeah.
The of the two movies, the only thing that actually works for me is I think in the new movie, Greg Kinnear is fantastic as David Larrabee. He pulls it off. That's the most interesting character in both of the movies. William Holden pulls it off too. He just seems so much. He almost seems like the same age as Linus, rather than as a younger brother.
Yeah.
They do generally a better job of that in the other movie, to show Harrison Ford and Greg Kinnear having a gap in age and a gap in maturity that I don't think they quite pull off here.
No.
But these stories are just, they're kind of dull.
And it was really it was an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
I can't buy that he wouldn't recognize her just after 2 years. Like, I've rarely, seen someone, even many, many years later. Like, the only times that's kind of ever happened is if you have someone who really transforms themselves. Like, someone who was, really big, who lost a lot of weight, or this was really thin, who gained a lot of weight. You have an actual physical transformation that will, this isn't the same person.
Yeah, and not only that, this girl tried to commit suicide, and it was played as, oh, she's just being a silly girl.
Yeah, she's just being dramatic. And
she's just being dramatic.
No, that's a pretty serious crime.
Yeah, that's not great. And she goes to culinary school to become,
I think she's there to be like a pastry chef.
Or whatever. And I feel like she went to Paris to get away from the David situation, right?
Rather than grow as a human being.
Right. And she basically was like, I'm going there to get over him, but she didn't.
Right.
And it, maybe if it was a stronger love story to me, then maybe I could understand her staying into him, but it was all one-sided
It's not
And
only is it one-sided, but
he doesn't see her that way at all.
It's not just that. It's like, what about him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like the way it's kind of presented is like, this is kind of the last straw. So she has seen David who knows how many times, especially since she's like, you know, had those kinds of feelings that she realizes, oh, I have feelings for him. How many times has she seen him
with another woman
bring a woman at a party into that tennis court? It's implied that it's happened a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, if this is how he always does it, like, why do you want to be the girl?
Well, and she even says, like, he's like, hey, you know, when he discovers her again, and he's like, hey, do you want to, like, and she's like, go to the tennis courts and have wine? Like, she knows, like, his whole motivation and what he does.
Well, that's my thing. Is like, why do you want to be the basic bitch who gets taken to the tennis court?
The tennis court.
Every other woman he has not cared about at all.
Yeah.
Like, he is just, like, he's there, you know, for a very specific reason. Hey, no shame in it.
Whatever.
But you know why he's going there, and it has nothing to do with having any kind of relationship with those women.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is a playboy. He's rich. He's good looking. He can have a lot of different women, and hey, more power to him if that's the life that he wants to live or whatever. But from her perspective, it's like, why do you want to be with that guy? Why is this guy, you know, the object of your, you know, affection?
To me, it's like she didn't know any better. They were the only two examples she had growing up of men. But then it's like, she went to Paris.
For 2 years. And it's
for 2 years.
And it's kind of implied she had some affairs.
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
It's kind of implied a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
That she is kind of matured in that aspect of her life. So she's not coming into this, like, as a complete, like, rube. Even though they play her like she's a complete freaking rube. So it's just like, a lot of the story just doesn't really work for me. It looks great. The acting is pretty good. I don't think they have great chemistry.
No.
I think actually David and Sabrina have better chemistry than Sabrina and Linus.
Correct.
Which is a problem.
Yeah. Like a whole Linus.
Yeah. I gave this one a 50. Jerry gave it a 48. So the list score is 49.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Pretty middle of the road.
Yeah.
Probably won't make our overall list, but you know, such is life.
Yes. But yeah, if you have comments, you've seen this movie, you want to state your opinion, please comment on our video. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel and like our videos. If you'd like to email us, please email us at ratingthelist@gmail.com. For now, that's it. So we're rating the list. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.